story of the number law. And as you all can see, I was simply walking through a standard Minecraft world when I noticed that there was something a bit strange about this world, as if it had already been built on. I noticed that there were around 3 different huts that were quite interesting to me because they were located right next to a Minecraft village. Now, it was quite interesting because they all had very different colors, almost as if they all differently responded to different things that were in the Minecraft world. Now, of course, at the time, I didn't really know exactly what to expect, but I did know that if there was going to be something that was going to be interesting, it would surely come from this village. So I was wondering exactly what on earth was going on because this village had some really cool houses nearby, and I was wondering if maybe perhaps these houses were inhabitants of some new creatures or maybe even some new types of villagers. But that was going to not be the case at all, because you're about to see these were actually parts of the alphabet law. Now, you can all see right here that there were posters of the new number laws in these individual houses, which was definitely interesting. I hadn't really seen the alphabet law in such a long time, and of course seeing them today was quite the treat. So you can see the alphabet law was here in his house that was red, which meant to me that potentially every one of these secret houses was a representative of each of different characters in the alphabet law and potentially the number law, because that was what we were investigating at this time. So I decided to continue to look around to see if there were any more different secrets that I could find within these secret houses. I wasn't exactly sure as to what I was going to find, but I just knew that if I continued looking around, then perhaps I could find something really rather interesting and perhaps really rather cool. So I decided to go into the next house, which of course was the yellow house, and I honestly did not know what to expect because each one of these houses could have contained perhaps maybe a number law or perhaps a different kind of character. But when I looked through the window, I saw that there was the letter B. So of course we now had the letter A and the letter B in 2 houses right next to the village. So I was wondering, what were they actually doing here and why were they near the village? Because of course, as you know, the alphabet law, depending on the character or depending on the letter, can be quite dangerous. And how are we going to find also the number law? So of course the letter B was just chilling in the house and I was wondering what he was doing. And to my surprise, he didn't actually seem like he wanted to attack me, which was a very good sign. Many different times before, I've actually been attacked by the number law and these different characters, and I was wondering if that was going to be the case again. Now, I knew that this house right here, the one that I was going up to, was potentially going to be the house of letter F. This is because the house was out of the black material and it was going to be quite dangerous. So as you can all see right here, I saw the letter F inside there and I knew that it was going to be a very difficult time. Now, I did decide to see if I could go inside without him attacking me, and to my surprise, he actually did not attack me at all. So that was actually pretty cool, and thank God he didn't attack me, because if he did, it would have meant I was in trouble. But the entire discovery that I was trying to make was about the number law. So I didn't know exactly where the number law was and exactly what they were doing. So I had to figure out exactly how the number law came to be. And this is where the alphabet law came into contact. So after speaking to the alphabet law for quite some time, I decided to go ahead into the village to see exactly what these guys were doing right next to the village. So I then decided to go ahead and talk to this villager over here, and he said we are friends with the alphabet law, which was actually quite interesting considering that the villagers and the alphabet law actually did have quite a bad past in the past, if that made sense. So I was wondering what is going on, but as you guys can see, it said they're actually a part of their community, which is so crazy. So it seemed as if the alphabet law had over time become a part of the villagers community, which was really information to figure out exactly what was going on, because I didn't know on earth how I could figure it out. But there was this sign that told me everything. The sign said the alphabet law randomly spawned here one day, and they have come here and have been a part of our loving community ever since that fateful day. So that meant the alphabet law just simply spawned in and made friends with the villagers, which is definitely kind of interesting. But I wanted to know exactly how this story began. So I decided to look around and see exactly what was going on, even in more detail, because I needed to get to the bottom of this. So where did the alphabet law come from, and where are the number law which had just been released on the poster? So what happened was the letter A actually asked me to farm some crops for him, and this is where things started to go weird. He said, hey, can you farm some crops for me? And I politely obliged, because of course I was going to be part of the loving community. But things wouldn't last for long, because after I farmed these crops, as you're about to see, things started to take a turn for the worst. So after farming the majority of these potatoes, because the alphabet law A wanted me to, I decided to go ahead and see what these villagers were up to. So of course I spoke to this villager right here, and he said, "Did you hear about the rumors about the numbers? Did you hear about the rumors about the numbers?" And I was thinking, what are you talking about? You need to be careful. And this is where the number law information started to make sense. They were saying that there was some kind of information with the number laws that were leading to the alphabet law. So I decided that maybe there's more to that meets the eye. So I might as well ask the alphabet law exactly what's going on. So I went back into the house and asked the letter A, "Hey, what is he talking about? The number law, what is actually going on here? I need to get to the bottom of this, because this doesn't make any sense whatsoever." So then, of course, as you can all see, it was actually now nighttime, which was actually quite dangerous, because at nighttime, especially in the dimension where there are many different creatures, I didn't know what to expect or what could come for me. So I knew that I was going to be in a potentially bad scenario, provided that I didn't act up very, very quickly. So I decided to look around and see exactly what was in the interiors of this place, and trust me, it wasn't that good. So I decided that, you know what, okay, I'm gonna actually figure out what's going on tomorrow, and this is when the story actually started to go. After taking a nice nap, this is when things started to go absolutely crazy, and then the number law actually started to spawn in. But as you're about to see, it took a series of events for this to happen. So I decided to see what was going on with the alphabet law, because he told me that he would tell me exactly what was going on the next day. But when I went over to his house, something strange had actually happened. The alphabet law was nowhere to be seen. The only thing that I could see was his poster of the number law on the wall, and I was looking around for him and I couldn't actually find him at all, which was not good in the slightest. I mean, what was he doing, and where had he gone, and what had actually happened to the alphabet law? And it just didn't make sense to me. So I decided that maybe I should check letter B's house, because maybe the letter B had actually done something and maybe he's actually there himself. But no, just like before, the houses had completely disappeared. So now it was a situation where every single alphabet law had pretty much disappeared, including the letter F, which meant that the letter F wasn't going to be the culprit here, but maybe the number law was. So now I need to figure out, where did the alphabet law go, and what exactly did they do, and how on earth did this situation even happen in the first place? So I decided to continue looking around and even ask some villagers, because now questions needed to be answered. And the villagers were asking the same questions. Where did our friends absolutely go? What happened to them? What simply went? Of course, this other alphabet law villager decided to ask, where did the alphabet law go? So it was clear that everyone was completely confused, because they had no idea as to what was going on or where the alphabet law even went. And of course, this villager decided to remind me that he actually reminded me that I warned you to be careful, because I think somebody actually took them. So this is when the story decided to get even crazier now, because now we had our culprit on our hands. We knew exactly what had happened. Somebody had actually taken them. So I decided to go ahead and look inside the chest, because that was where I knew there was going to be some nice materials. So using these nice materials, I decided to go ahead and make myself some armor and make myself some crafting table goodness. So of course, after making myself a crafting table, I wanted to be on the safe side, because if someone was out there and if someone was kidnapping people, I needed to make sure that I wasn't going to be next. So I decided to make myself some diamond armor, a diamond chest plate, a diamond helmet, some diamond legs, and I needed to make sure that I was completely good. So after doing this, I then decided to get myself, of course, a diamond sword as well, because that was going to be one of the best things that I could do. And then, of course, now I just needed to make sure that everything was going to my plan. So after making myself the very best armor in the game, and after looking around for what was seemingly ages with my golden apple, I then realized that there was a very big clue. So after looking around, I noticed that there was something nearby. There was some kind of strange factory that was right on the outskirts of the village that didn't really make sense. I wasn't even figuring out exactly what was going on, but I just knew that there was something pretty strange going on. I wasn't sure as to how it even worked, but it was a huge boarded up area where a man was standing outside. But the moment I got there, the man had somehow disappeared and the vault was simply open. It was definitely quite strange, but I didn't exactly know what this strange thing was. And I was thinking that maybe potentially this is exactly where some of the characters had actually gone. But of course, I needed to go inside there and figure out if the characters had actually been gone there or something terrible had happened to them. So I decided to break open this kind of place because I wanted to see exactly what had gone wrong in this area. So by breaking open this area and opening the vault, that's when it was revealed to me exactly where the number lore were. As you can all see, this was a secret number lore factory, but it wasn't a really good one because the problem was that the number lore were actually being made out of the old alphabet lore. And of course, this wasn't evident at first, but the more I looked inside the secret base, the more I realized exactly what was going on. So as you can see here, we were looking at 1, 2, and 0, and of course, there were 1, 2, 3s to all the way up to letter 9. Now, from the moment I went down, you can all see that there were many different materials and many different tools that were being used to convert the alphabet laws into these different characters. It was definitely quite strange because we saw the letter A, the letter B, and the letter F in these strange hospital beds, and they were actually about to undergo some secret. So I decided to go down and see exactly what was going on. Now, what the problem was that when I went down there, unfortunately for me, it said that the glass was completely unbreakable, which was a huge problem because I needed to figure out how on earth I was going to break this glass and get into there. Now, he said these subjects will then be converted into numbers now, and all employees must now evacuate. So, of course, I decided that, okay, this isn't going to be good, and I decided to leave the secret base as quick as possible because I didn't want to get converted into a number as well. So I decided, you know what, I better save myself. But this wasn't the end of the story at all, because by the time I decided to go back inside the base, the letter 1 had been created. And I wasn't exactly sure how on earth he was even created, but you can all see that the letter 1 from the alphabet lore had somehow been created in a very strange and creative manner. It seemed as if all the other previous alphabets from the alphabet lore had merged into number 1 to start the new series. Definitely was quite interesting, but I wasn't exactly sure what to do, so I just decided to leave the secret base. Now, of course, I wasn't exactly sure how dangerous this creature was, so I made sure that whilst leaving the secret base, I used some very good tools to ensure that the secret base wasn't going to be one that became trouble to us again. So I decided to go inside my inventory and get myself some obsidian and block up this secret base to ensure that this creature never saw the light of day again.